Oops. Okay, so can you all hear me? Can I get a nod? Okay, I'm getting a few nods. Thank you. Because I don't hear anything. It's probably because I've muted you all. So, alrighty. So this is, welcome to What is OPTAVIA? So we're going to be talking a little bit real quickly about what OPTAVIA is, specifically the health part of it, and we'll talk a little bit more about what that means in a little bit. Let's see. So this is me. My OPTAVIA journey started about 5.5 years ago. I actually was about to turn 40 and realized that my baby weight probably couldn't be called baby weight anymore because my baby was 3. So I really hadn't had much of a weight problem before I had kids. And then I had 3 kids in 4 years, and I discovered that apparently my habits were awful because I couldn't get off any of the weight that I had gained with all 3 of the kids. So I tried a few things, and they worked a little bit for a little while, and then they stopped. And I had a girlfriend of mine who was an OPTAVIA health coach. And so finally, in a night of desperation, I reached out to her at 10 o'clock at night, and I said, please help me. And thank goodness for her, because she did. So as you can see here in my picture, I lost 50 pounds. And I feel much better. So I have energy now to keep up with my kids. I did it all before my 40th birthday, which was my goal. And I'm 45 now, so that was 5 years ago. And OPTAVIA has been so much more for me than a weight loss. In all honesty, I started with it as a diet, but what I found was it kind of transformed every part of my life. And we'll go into a little bit more of the rest of that later. But I like this slide because it's our tagline. So OPTAVIA is, we aim for lifelong transformation, one healthy habit at a time. And who are we, or what are we? I know you're here because you're wondering, what is this OPTAVIA stuff? Well, the gentleman in the center there, his name is Dr. Wayne Anderson, and he is our co-founder. He developed something we'll talk more about later called the Habits of Health system, as well as, really he made OPTAVIA what OPTAVIA is. And who are we? Well, we're everybody. We come from all walks of life, all shapes and sizes, all ages, all over the country. We're actually going to be expanding to Singapore and Hong Kong at the beginning of next year. So we're about ready to go international, and that's really exciting. But we are everybody that needs to work on their health. So there are no boundaries, there are no limits. We can help everybody from young to old, and that's kind of exciting. So speaking of that, I have a few of my good friends who are going to share their story in a second. Before they start, though, I want you to think for a minute what brought you to this call, and where are you now with your health, and if you could snap your fingers, where would you be? What would you create? And what would that look like? And then hold on to that in your mind while we listen to some stories. So we get to hear from Colleen first. Colleen, can you take yourself off mute? Or I can do it for you. Oh, good. Can you share with us? Hi.
Sure, I'd love to. Thanks for having me, Jen. Hi, everybody. My name is Colleen Dolak, and my health journey started about 2.5 years ago. It was also just before my 40th birthday, but 2 weeks before my 40th birthday. So what really launched me into this was realizing that as I was walking down the stairs one morning and my ankles were sore, that I only get this body. This is my only body that I'm ever going to get. And I have plans for the future. I want to retire. I don't know how practical it is for me to retire in the next 5 years. And I realized that I would need to take better care of this body in order to have the life that I've envisioned in retirement. You know, I want to travel and I want to hike and I want to see amazing things. And, you know, and I may have another 25 years of working before I get to my retirement. And so I decided that I really needed to make some changes. And like Jennifer said, my changes started with small things, but the amazing thing about the program is that it didn't really it wasn't just the choices that I made with food. It wasn't just, you know, changing my eating habits and the physical aspects of it. For me, it was almost immediately a physical and mental shift in thinking about how I approached everything, with food, with my choices, and looking at the positive, or am I going to look at things as a diet and what I'm missing in my life? Or am I going to look at things as to the choices, the good choices that I get to make, and looking forward to the options that I do have? And so, that was really powerful, having that mental shift, and that translated to a ton of different things in my life. My family, my kids, my husband, my work, just everything, you know, not have to, but get to. So that was really powerful. I've lost 60 pounds, and I've ebbed and flowed a little bit, but I am at a smaller size than I was when I met my husband. So that's exciting. I think I have a little longer to go in my journey, but, you know, I'm kicking, I'm working it every day. So I love it.
That's awesome. Thank you, Colleen.
Thanks.
Okay. Next we get to hear from Courtney. Courtney, can you unmute yourself and share a little bit about your journey so far?
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you for having me, Jen. Yeah. So my story started, I have 3 pregnancies, 2 babies at home. I've been pregnant 3 times. And right before I got pregnant, I went through and tried to lose some weight because I think I got very comfortable in my marriage and the weight started to creep up. And so I wanted to get healthy before I had kids. So I was able to do that with another program, but there was a lot of work and tracking and prepping and stuff, but I had time, so it was not a problem. And then I dealt with something I wasn't expecting. With all 3 of my pregnancies, I actually dealt with something called hyperemesis gravidarum, which is extreme morning sickness. So I would just basically throw up, for lack of a better term, all day, my whole pregnancy. And it caused me to lose a ton of weight in my first trimester. And so they basically were like pushing food and whatever I could eat. And a lot of times it was like, go get ice cream, go get frozen yogurt, anything that you will eat. So I got into this habit of just eating whatever I wanted. I have a big sweet tooth. I love carbs and all of those things. I love food. So I got in this mindset of just eating whatever I wanted. And I was actually encouraged to, because I wasn't able to keep anything down. And then I'd have my baby and then it would go away. And then I got pregnant again, same thing. So this was a yo-yo of about 4 years of me losing a ton of weight and then creeping back up and then losing a ton. And so once I had my daughter, my most recent daughter, she just turned 2, I watched my weight slowly creep up again. And then it started to get higher and get higher. And then it went past my pregnancy weight. And then I was like, whoa, what's happening here? And so I felt like, oh, I'm eating vegetables, I'm eating protein, we don't eat a lot of red meat, but it was all of those little things I wasn't really keeping track of, like the carbs, the sweets, the little bite licks and taste I would do throughout the day that I realized was creeping up. So I reached out to Jen, and it was definitely some work. I started, this was either crazy or brilliant or both, but I started right before Thanksgiving. But I had a goal. I went on a trip just a few weeks ago to Jamaica for a missions trip, but I had a goal that I wanted to be at my goal weight before I left on that trip, or within a few pounds of it. And so I definitely, would have probably lost a little bit more sooner had I stuck to the plan 100%, but being the holidays, I had temptations that I had to navigate through. But I still lost 30 pounds from before Thanksgiving to February 3rd when I left for my trip. And I know that I probably would have been even higher had I not done the program. And it's amazing because I feel like the person I know in my own clothing, in my own skin. I started to become someone I didn't feel like I knew, and I wasn't fitting anything, and I was really frustrated. I was avoiding pictures, and it was disheartening for me. And so it was me being able to tackle some of the little habits that I do that maybe weren't the most healthy for me. And our bodies change as we get older, and I had to adjust to that. But I am now at a space where I feel comfortable in my clothes. I feel confident. I get comments about it instead of people asking me, am I pregnant? Which I was getting. It was more like, wow, you look great. And so that's felt really good just in my confidence and my ability. And I just love that I get to have the opportunity to pay that forward. And then also I found that I need that extra bit of accountability to my clients and to other people to stay on track, because I will drift off very easily. And so I am thankful that I have this space to do that as well. So that's a little bit of my story.
Thank you. You're one of the people that comes to my mind when so frequently people have that dialogue, well, I'll start something next Monday, right? And it's not just a health program, but like we do that. We as humans do that. We want to put things off, we want to commit later. And you said it was either insane or brilliant. It was probably both, like you said. But what you did, most people gain 7 to 10 pounds over the holidays, and you went the other direction. So I'd say it's more of the brilliant side than the insane side. So well done, Courtney. Thank you for sharing.
Thank you.
All right. And then now we get to hear from Robert. Robert, if you're there, I know you're there. Can you unmute yourself and talk to us, please?
Yes. Hello. How are you?
Hello. Good. Thank you.
So this is kind of exciting because actually this March is my 5-year anniversary for when I started a program.
Yay.
And it was kind of interesting. We started our family late in life. We have 2 girls. They're now teenagers. But when I did, I had gone up and down my whole life. And I said, well, if I can just maintain this, I can find happiness, and if you look at that top left picture there, that I was trying to make that happy.
That was happiness.
I was trying. And and so but at one point I looked up and I realized that I was like watching my children instead of doing with my children. And then one fine day, Jennifer actually said hello to me. And the world of OPTAVIA kind of opened up to me by accident. I was kind of like, what's that thing? And so she shared that thing. And some of you who know me, I'm originally from New York, and we're quite a unique group of people, and we're very skeptical, I think, by nature. And so I said, yeah, I'll give it a go. I've done it all. What do I have to lose? And I had this amazing journey. I got healthy. And one of my goals, my secret goals, was to, that, I was going to create all these memories with my children. And so fast forward 2 years after I reached my goal weight, we went and spent a week at Disney World. And most of the pictures I have are my youngest daughter, totally mortified because I am like just living out loud and having fun. I thinking to myself, this is great. I said, one day when I'm dust, they're just going to sit down and be able to tell all these amazing stories of these amazing things we did together, and so it was kind of like I lost body fat, but I gained a life. Just totally transformed my life. And before, if I asked me, I thought I had a great life, and I didn't realize how much I was holding myself back. So ultimately I lost 85 pounds. And what I found amazing is I weighed what I weighed in high school, but I'm actually 2 pant sizes smaller, which blew my mind.
Wow.
Kind of thing, kind of going, wait a minute, how's that possible? It's the power of burning fat. It's just great. So here I am 5 years later, still going strong, still loving what I'm doing, still have all these great habits. That doesn't mean the old ones go away. It just means that I get to own them instead of them owning me, and I make choices, and I'm part of this great community that supports me and allows me to continue my success.
So perfect. I remember one of the first things you said to me was you wanted to be able to ride a roller coaster with your kids. And then I remember when you sent me the picture of you going down the spiral slide in Florida, and you're like, look at what I did.
Yes, actually, that trip I actually went at how old was that? So I'm 56 now, so I was like 54. It was my first time ever down a water slide. In a bathing suit with a shirt off.
That's so great.
Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you, Robert. Thank you. Okay, so by now you've heard these stories, these amazing stories, and we could have, we could have had dozens of people tell inspiring stories. They're just hundreds of people whose lives have been transformed by this program. So if you're listening, either live or recorded, you're wondering, what is this thing and how does it do what we have said? So our program is called OPTAVIA, and we really focus on a person's overall health. Now, we believe in healthy mind, healthy body, and healthy finances. This particular call is focused on the healthy body part, which is why we've talked a lot about our physical transformations. But what you've heard a lot of is that might be why we walked through the door, but that isn't all that was on the other side of the door, was a healthy body. And I actually loved what Robert said, that it's not like the old stuff goes away. And that was a shock to me. I thought like I'd lose my weight and like check it off and then be done. And it didn't work out like that. Maybe because I'm 45 now, I don't know. But we'll talk about my big eye opener in a minute. But our 4 primary like pillars of health are what you see here. Your coach, the health habits of health, our larger community, and then the fuelings, or our nutrition program. So as you can see, all 4 of those pillars are equally weighted. And the reason that they are equally weighted is because we've learned through trial and error, really, that if you just focus on 1 or even 2 or even sometimes 3 and you leave 1 out, you're not getting the most you can out of OPTAVIA and out of potentially what your goals are. You'll have a greater chance of success if you tap into all 4. So we're going to talk briefly about all 4. We're going to start with the coach. So all the people that have shared tonight didn't start as coaches. Some people do, but all 4 of us, myself included, started as clients, and then either soon or after a while chose to become a coach. And what a coach is your guide through this program. All 4 of us have been through this program. We've all lost weight, and we're good guides because we have been there, and we can hold your hand and link arms with you and show you the resources that we have and empathize with you. I like to say we're lighthouses, not tugboats. We're not your mom. We're not your counselor. We can't drag you anywhere you don't want to go, but we can light the way down a path that you're intrinsically motivated to move towards. The second part of our program, and this has been the biggest for me, and you heard a little bit of it through all the others that shared, through Colleen, Courtney, and Robert. The habits of health is all the head stuff that goes along with getting healthy. You can lose weight and be at a healthy weight and not be healthy. And I've actually had clients that are at a healthy weight but don't have healthy habits. And so they come into OPTAVIA to work on their habits of health. We cover all of the habits of health. We cover, as you can see, there's a few of them here: sleep and hydration, and of course, healthy weight, stress management. We feed clients micro habits of health through a number of different ways. We do weekly habits of health calls that are also recorded if you can't catch them live. We have a book and a workbook. We have podcasts. So however you learn, we can feed the information to you, but it is important. Remember the 25%, it's up there in the corner. If you skip over this part, I guarantee you're going to regret it. So your coach will ask you about this if you choose to join us. Then the third part of our program is our community. And these are just a few pictures that I've collected over the years of events that we've gone to and coaches. Some of the ones you've heard tonight you can see in those pictures. Community is one of those things that we are increasingly, we have more and more Facebook friends, but we're increasingly isolated. This particular plan, OPTAVIA, helps connect you with others who are all working on our health together. And it's kind of great. And in addition to the community of others trying to get healthy and working on their health, you also have access to a doctor and a nurse and a nutritionist to guide you through. And then the last pillar of our program is our nutrition plans, or the fuelings is the word that you saw there. So this, what we do is, after getting to know every prospective client a little bit, we customize simple nutrition plans that lead to predictable transformation. What all of our plans have in common is you're eating 6 small meals a day, about every 3 hours you're awake, and drinking a lot of water. Depending on your goals. Now we have plans, like I said, they're customized. We have plans for everybody. We have teen plans, we have nursing mom plans, we have senior plans, we have plans for people who are morbidly obese, we have plans for people who are training for a marathon. So wherever you are, if your goal is to move your health forward, we can customize a plan that helps you get there. All the plans utilize some of our OPTAVIA fuelings, which a few of the attributes are listed here. They're low glycemic, high protein, balanced. They have all the vitamins and minerals you need in a day. They have probiotics and vitamin D added. They have no artificial ingredients, so they're really good for you. And what they do, combined with healthy eating, depending on the plan that you are plugged into, is help you begin to burn fat if you have fat stores for fuel. Here are 2 of our most common plans. I'm going to just briefly go over these. So the 5-in-1, if after talking to your health coach, it is determined that that's your plan for you, it's probably our most popular plan. It's one that burns fat the most efficiently. Like it says there, you're eating every 2 to 3 hours, your nutrition is balanced, and you're burning fat, so you have a lot of energy, and you sleep better. The benefits are kind of amazing, and you just get to stay in that state the whole time you're losing weight. And we teach you what the meals are, so you're not eating everything from OPTAVIA. It's a combination. And then the 3-in-3 there is another example, and as you can see, it's a combination of our healthy fuelings and the balanced meals. So that's kind of the overview of everything. So remember at the beginning, I asked you to think about what your reality is and where you want to be in your health. And then I want you to think, I want you to remember the stories that you heard tonight. So we all 4 of us decided at some point we had had enough and we were going to make a change. And even Courtney did it in Thanksgiving. In the 5 years I have been doing this, I have never once had a client say, I wish I hadn't started as early as I did. So think about that. You know, if you want to move forward in your health, why not now? You know, what better time than now? Like Robert's, you know, in the pool with his shirt off, and he wasn't like that before. And Colleen with her like retirement plans, she now has energy to do that. And I have energy to play with my kids, whereas I didn't before. So the way that you can circle back around here is, if you're watching this live or recorded, reach out back to the person that sent it to you or invited you to our call, and they'll connect with you and talk to you about your reality and talk to you about your goals, and then match up one of our plans that is the right plan for you, and then they get to help you create that. That's kind of cool. And then one more thing, I have a plug, because we're doing another call tomorrow night. So one of the happy side effects of having energy and losing weight and glowing and looking younger than you are is that everybody wants to know what the heck are you doing and how did you do it. Tomorrow night, we're talking about the business part of OPTAVIA, which is really an extension of the health part. Remember at the very beginning how I said healthy mind, healthy body, and healthy finances? Well, coaching for me, and I know for the others that shared, we didn't talk a lot about it simply because we didn't have the time to do that tonight, but helping others create health in their life and financial freedom has been the most amazing experience ever. It's more than I had ever dreamed it would be. And here's a few reasons why people coach. I actually started coaching for accountability, and because I had friends that weren't being referred to my coach at the time. But we also have entrepreneurs that come in who see a business opportunity. We have people who have a heart to help others, people who are looking for a second source of income. We have a lot of medical professionals, doctors and nurses. We have trainers. Courtney's an occupational therapist. And then people who just want to be a part of this amazing movement. So if you're interested in learning more about that, that's tomorrow night. I'll post it on my Facebook page, or here's the number, March 6th at 6:30. So thank you for joining us, and reach out to the person that shared this with you, and have a good night.